I'm Todd Medine. I'm the Field Application Engineer in North America. Today we're going to give you a brief 15-minute overview of GradeMetrix. I'll start off with the menus and settings the machine operator has available to them to interact with GradeMetrix. After you start GradeMetrix from the Iron 1 display, this is the screen that will welcome you. GradeMetrix will remember the last screen view and project that was used before turning off the display, making it easier for the operator to just start GradeMetrix and get to work. First, we will start with the menu. To access the menu, simply tap on the icon in the upper left-hand corner. Open Job is where we change the current job that we're on. Notice in the lower left-hand corner, there's a check mark option for copy the selected job to the data folder. If you had a job on a thumb drive, you would just select the correct drive on the left side, select Open, and it will automatically save the file off your thumb drive and onto the Iron 1, making it easier to transfer jobs across our product line. Navigation is used for locating imported points and points that the operator has manually stored. Just select the point that you want to find and then select the OK button. GradeMetrix will draw a line in the direction of the point and also give you a distance to the point. When you've located the point, select Exit in the upper left-hand corner. This would be useful for manholes that are covered below finished grade for paving, or pipe inverts that might accidentally get covered up. Field design is used for creating designs in the field using RTK position from the machine. GradeMetrix will save all the field design options to the current job folder. So if you have multiple field designs, you can quickly pick from the list drop down. When recording the locations using a blade or bucket, make sure that the quick location is on the part of the blade or bucket that you're recording from. You can quickly do this by clicking and holding on either the cross-section view or profile view. Normally, you would set either left or right side of the blade or bucket down on a known grade or stake. If you have a stake with a cutter fill that you're referencing in the field design, you can use vertical offset to receive the proper cutter fill. Flat pad will create a pad at the same elevation. This pad will extend on all sides of the machine forever. This is useful in building pads, tank pads, or for anything that requires a flat surface. Hold Slope will let you select a line from the job and let you grade a certain percentage off that line. This is useful for redesigns in a project or if you need to adjust a slope. Keep in mind the line's elevation is obtained from the surface. Sloped pad will do anything a dual laser can do. You can give both main fall and cross fall a certain percentage rise or fall from a selected elevation. Useful for parking lots and tie-ins between two known areas. Ramp is very similar to sloped pad, but it will give you an option for a grade break, or two sloped pads based off the line that you record. Think of a V-ditch or a crowned road. This is useful for creating roads, trenches for underground, and tie-ins between two known areas. After you are done using the field design and would like to grade based off the job surface, you will need to clear the design and press Next. 2D can be used if the machine does not have access to RTK corrections from a base or a VRS network. Currently, 2D is only supported in the excavator, and we also offer optional laser receiver to help with vertical guidance. You will reference the grade similarly to how you would in field design by lowering the bucket tip to a known grade or elevation. Just like field design, you will have to choose what side of the bucket that you are referencing using the quick location located by clicking and holding on the cross-section view. The icon on the top right will allow you to change the type of 2D applications. The first application we have is flat pad. It will create a level pad at the same elevation. Single slope pad will allow the operator a single % rise or fall based off the recorded azimuth and elevation. Dual slope pad is just like the slope pad in field design. The operator can choose the rise or fall in % from the main fall and cross fall of the machine. Trench is a tool for creating cross-section templates for underground utilities. Along with giving you a target cutter fill to invert, you can create multiple node cross-sections. This would be useful for utilities that need to be buried deep, and you can create benches in the trench to keep the guys and the trench safe. Profile is similar to trench, but instead of cross-section templates, we will be creating profile templates. This would be useful for creating a ditch while excavating it from the side. Once you've created a 2D application, you will have to use the icons in the main view to interact with the newly created design. The second icon down with the image of the bucket is used for reference where grade is. Place the bucket down on grade or a stake or elevation and press the reference icon. This will now be considered grade. If you had cut or fill that needed to be added, you can use the vertical offset. The fourth icon down is used for the optional laser receiver. When installed, this will help tracking the elevation change when you have to track the machine. The icon below that is used if you don't have the optional laser receiver installed. You would use this to touch the ground with a bucket to create a reference point, to retouch after you track the machine to compensate for any vertical movement the machine made while moving. The second to last icon can measure the distance and slope between the reference point and your bucket tip. The very last icon is used for exiting the 2D application. Using Topo, GradeMetrix has the ability to record points from the comfort of the machine cab. There's 3 tabs on the left side of the menu when you access the Topo menu. General is used for giving the Topo a specific file name, and you also choose how you will record the points. Data points will allow you to pick from different types of data that will be recorded when you shoot a point. Codes will give you the user additional description when recording points. You can search for a specific code using the filter bar up top. Under the General tab, you will first either give the Topo file a name or choose an existing file from the list. This will give the operator a way to organize recorded points by file name, making it easier to switch between recorded points and or daily topos. GradeMetrix by default will store the topo data in the job folder. Points of interest will let you select where to reference the blade or bucket when recording points, just like you would choose in the quick location. Save method will give you the option to automatically record a point based on time or distance. Save every is asking you either how long do you want to record based on time or how far between the points based on distance. Elevation change will record additional points if the machine raises or lowers an elevation from the inputted amount before reaching the save every threshold. This is useful in uneven terrain. The check mark for save first point will either create a point the second you start the auto topo if checked, or wait for the first distance or time threshold to be reached. Prompt for feature codes will not allow the operator to record a point unless a code is selected. Generally, I would leave this unchecked unless a code is needed. Once you have the file and the above settings added, you can press OK to access the main view topo menu. From the main topo screen, you can start the auto topo using the settings you established in General tab or record a single shot. You can also quickly access the General tab by selecting the Setup button. Once you've completed the topo, select the exit icon to go back to the main screen views. On the second page of the menu is where the operator can change the radio channel by accessing the radio channel submenu. Using the emulator, I don't have the option to open the channel configuration tab, but in a normal machine, this is where you go to see the channel numbers and the frequency associated to those channel numbers. Once you know the frequency you want, you would just simply change the channel number under the basic configuration. If using VRS or IBSS corrections, you can access those settings inside the N-trip configuration. We have 2 ways of providing cellular data to the Iron 1. If you have a GSM SIM card, the Iron 1 has a slot on the back of the display, or you can use a Wi-Fi hotspot and easily connect it to the Wi-Fi network of the Iron 1. On the left side of the menu, we have additional icons. The user icon will allow you to log in as supervisor, where you can access the locked menus that no normal operator will not have access to. Notice on the second page of the menu, most of the menus are grayed out while I'm in operator mode. I cannot open these sub-menus. When I change the mode to supervisor, I can go back to the second page and I now have access to the install submenus. By default, this is not password protected, but we would expect the end user to add a password after the install is done to prevent any potential issues from rogue button pushers. The settings icon will allow the operator to change the way they view the data from the main screens. The sitemap tab will allow the operator to change the color of the background. By default, the background color is black. If I go into the sitemap tab and select a color wheel next to the background color, I can change it to any color that I want. Useful for odd colored lines in the model, and at nighttime, black generally gives less eye strain to the operator. Moving map will rotate the design around the machine. By default, this is the option that is installed in GradeMetrix. You can change it to static position where north is up and the machine rotates around the map. Generally, I would keep it as a moving map, but for certain instances, it's useful to have north up, like when you're trying to center the machine on a specific line. Underground guys would find this beneficial. Zooming factor will allow you to change the amount of zoom in or out that each button push will give you in a single click in the main screen views. 1.1 is default. When you go to the main screen views, it will only zoom out a little bit when you press the button. But if you go back and change it to a higher number, you will see that each button push will zoom further out with each push. Site plan options will add or remove certain attributes from the main screens. Notice if I go back to the main screen, you'll see a scale bar in the lower left-hand corner of the plan view. Now, if I go back to the settings and site plan options and uncheck it, it will not be visible in the plan view. Info summary will add or delete the amount of items that the operator will see in the information summary. You can locate the information summary from main screen views. It is located at the top info bar next to the clock. To the left of the clock, you'll see the locked icon showing us that we're in operator mode. If we change the supervisor mode, you'll notice that the lock is now open. To the left of the lock, you will see the current solution on the RTK receiver. Currently, we have a fixed position. To the right of the info summary icon, you will see the icon for our monitor view. This will provide you with diagnostic data for the GradeMetrix system. The VR1000 tab is used for raw data coming from the receiver. The SAT view will give you current PDOP and satellites used, along with the image of satellites that you are tracking and where those satellites are located. Sat info will give you a list of used satellites. Sensor info will show you what value the sensors are reporting, this being useful for troubleshooting. Vehicle info, being another value diagnostic tool, will show you the northing easting elevation of whatever the quick location is on the bucket. Below that, you can see two buttons. We will start with the 2D point check. This will tell you the distance to the stick, bucket, pin, and teeth from center of the boom pin. This is used to test measurements and sensor calibrations. 3D point check can be used for the accuracy of the machine. Using a rover, you can check the northing, easting, and elevation of the right and left side of the bucket or blade and compare it with the number shown here. Modules will show you what version of GradeMetrix you have installed. To exit the monitor view, simply select the icon. The last icon on the right is used for switching between the different views that are programmed into GradeMetrix. Remember that some of the views will give you a quick way to access features like vertical offset, guideline or steering offsets, and quick location. For Josers, I would suggest using plan, section, and profile, plan and section, or dual cut and fill. For excavators, I would suggest plan, section, and profile, or profile and section. The lower right-hand corner has two buttons used for adjusting your vertical offset in incremental units. You can use them to adjust the offset either up or down. By default, GM is set up to change this amount by 0.1 feet at a time. You do have the capability to change that in Grading Setup menu. Click and hold on the light bar. The Grading tab will open here by default. The step box is where you would go to change this value. Change it to your preferred amount and press OK. Now, when you click up and down on the arrows, it will lift or lower the surface to that amount. If we click and hold on the light bar again, you can manually enter the offset in the offset tab. Add a negative here if you want the surface to go lower. In this menu, we also have the capability to save individual offsets for later use. If you type in the offset into the offset box, instead of pressing OK to exit, just press and hold on the lower numbers. By default, they're all set to 0. Notice when you click and hold on them, they will change to the offset that is in the offset box. You have a selection of 3 with an additional preset cycle button. This will give you a total of 9 pre-saved offsets. This is useful for commercial parking lots that have multiple different offsets from finished grade, like light duty traffic, heavy duty traffic, and parking stalls. The steering tab is used to horizontally offset a guidance line that is selected. Guidelines are created using the line work that you imported into GradeMetrix while creating the job. It will tell you the station and offset from the selected guide location located in the steering tab. This is identical to quick location, but is only used for guidelines. To use this, you will first have to select a guideline. This is done using any of the plan views in your main screen views. When you've located the line that you would want to use, just tap on the line and this menu will appear. Notice that there is an arrow indicating which direction the stationing is going. You could also add a stationing offset to force the correct stationing to appear. A CAD line will generally start at 0 + 0, 0, but the project stationing will start at a known number, something like 130 + 0, 0. If you know the stationing at the beginning of the project, and the line that you're choosing also starts at the beginning of the project, you can easily get proper stationing by adding in the beginning stationing to the station box. The Limits tab will change the way the light bar reacts. The upper and lower limit is where the end of the arrows at the top and bottom of the light bar will start moving up or down towards the grade. By default, this number is set to 1.5. Watch the arrow as I lower the boom. You'll see the arrow move as soon as I get to 1.5 feet of fill. You will also see it as I start undercutting. Now, if I go back into the Limits tab and change the upper limit to a positive 5 feet and lower the limit to minus 5 feet, after I move the machine back into the job, you'll see that the arrow will not move until it hits 5 feet of fill or 5 feet of cut. In the Limits tab, we also have an upper band and a lower band. This is used to tell you when the machine is on grade. By default, these are set to a single tenth, so the machine will tell you that you are on grade between a tenth of cut and a tenth of fill. If we change the upper band to 3/10 and the lower band to -3/10, we will now have a larger threshold for grade at 6/10. This is useful for larger machines or jobs with relaxed tolerances. The Limits tab settings are also used in conjunction with the system notification sounds. This will give you an audible cue to where the blade or bucket is in relation to the surface of the grade. Just like a laser receiver, it will fast beep if you're undercutting and a steady tone for grade. The volume level can be controlled in Iron One's desktop or completely turned off inside of General Settings menu. If you have any questions and would like to contact us or to find a dealer near you, go to www.hemispheregnss.com. For additional information about any of our machine control or positioning solutions, visit www.GradeMetrix.com.